Now, security, or we call a VPN, a secure or private virtual private network. A virtual private network it creates a secure channel between a server user and the server by connecting a pipe, okay, what we call the VPN pipe, to a VPN server. Now, before VPN, everything is in the clear, okay, and we are okay with it because there are little user on the network. Most of the user know each other, and there are not a lot of criminals. There are not a lot of money flowing on the internet. But as the number of user increases, as the number of application increases, as the number of the value of transaction increases, okay, more and more cyber criminals comes in and try to sniff data, try to sniff things off the transaction, right? And users, especially remote users, they typically connect to the internet via what we call a unsecure, untrusted channel. Like for example, you use a Wi-Fi in the hotel, right? Or you use a public Wi-Fi, or you use your home network. Okay. Your company server should not be accessed via such a casual method, right? Because you don't know who is providing the Wi-Fi and so on, and therefore they will be able to eavesdrop, okay, or to steal data off the network. So what we want to do is to create a secure channel, okay, secure channel between the remote user and your remote server, okay, by creating a VPN channel, okay, to the VPN server. So you can see that there's VPN tunnel, which is represented by this pink area, okay. And when this channel is being created, all the data that is being transmitted over this pink area is encrypted, okay. And the only the VPN server is able to decrypt it and then send it over in the clear to your remote server. And when the remote server reply, it goes back to the VPN server and encrypt it again and send back to your remote user. Right, so VPN is very crucial in today's world, okay, by allowing you to create a secure channel to conduct network activities. Right, it is increasingly used for remote workers and in public network. Right? However, there are also some security concerns that you will need to be aware of. For example, some data leakages. Okay, weak encryption. So you need to make sure that the VPN server that you use strong encryption. You also need to be using a trusted VPN provider, okay, because a VPN provider that is not trusted, you are at their mercy, right? Because they actually host the encryption key, and therefore they can technically decrypt anything that goes onto the channel, right? It is also potential that you are to a man in the middle attack. So if the VPN setting is not safe, the attacker can get a chance to intervene. Right? So if for example the remote some hacker has compromised your DNS server and it insert itself in the middle, So basically, they will create a VPN server between you and the VPN server, and they can decrypt anything that you pass through. Right, so that is we call it the man-in-the-middle attack. Right. Again, performance trade-off. Okay, because things are encrypted, so it tend to be a bit slow. But in today's hardware, this performance trade-off is not too much of a concern, unless you are running off a very, very old machine. Right? Network tools. There are some simple network tools that I'm going to just introduce. For example, hostname is a command, right? That will shows you the network name for the host. Okay. ipconfig or ifconfig. Okay. It is a program that lets you view the status, okay, of a network. Okay, so ifconfig is used in Linux, and ipconfig is used in Windows. Right? The other command that is very useful as a tool is called a ping. Right? Ping allows you to establish a connection, okay, either from IP address or from a host name. Okay, it tells you that the host is up, or the connection to the host is up or not. Right? This sends a what we call a ICMP echo request, right? And the reply will actually be the echo reply. Another useful tool is called the traceroute tool. Now, traceroute is actually a Linux command, traceroute. In Windows, we call it tracer, which is TRACERT, right? Tracer. Okay, so the spelling is a little bit different from Linux and also on Windows. Okay. So traceroute is a tool to determine the route that has been taken. So basically, what you do is that you actually send ping to the individual route server across the route. Right. So if for example over here you will first ping the local machine, the local gateway, and then you ping the next one, and you ping the next hop, you ping the next hop, until finally it ping the destination. Right, and in fact you ping it 3 times. Right? Ping it 3 times. That's the default configuration for traceroute. Netstat is the command that will show a list of information about the current state of the host networking subsystem. So you will list out the route table, you will list out all the port that is open for listening, meaning listening means that it is actually taking in connections. So it's acting as a server. Okay, so for example over here you know that it is this machine is a HTTP server. It is also a FTP server, and so because it's listening to all the well-known ports, right? And it also have some established connections. Okay, the meaning it is also connecting to other servers, for example, right? So this is called the netstat. Another command that is not very useful, okay, the command that is used for network scanning, okay, is mmap. Okay, it's a powerful tool that is used to discover hosts on the network. Automatically, you can scan the network and you will discover all the ports that is being opened on the servers and all this stuff. Now, be very careful about using mmap, because it can be viewed as a threat, right? Because if you put in the wrong parameter, it can be very aggressive in scanning, and it can trigger alerts in your network monitoring tools, and so make sure that you know the command. Make sure that you tell the network administrator that I'm running Nmap if you're running it against office environment, for example. Of course, if you run it in a control environment in your own lab, and you run it in your segment that you control, then obviously it's fine. Okay, but if you are running it in your office environment, you're running it in a monitored environment, make sure that you seek appropriate authority. Okay. There are other tools that can be used together for network scanning, tools like Metasploit, NetScan, IP scan, and so on, that can be used to do network scanning as well. Network sniffer are tools that allows you to capture a network packet. Now, of course, we have learned about Wireshark, or there are of course other network sniffing tools that you can use, like TCP-DUM and so on, that can be used to capture the network packet for you to analyze. Okay. Now, emerging technology. Okay, I'm just going to go through some emerging technologies that may be interesting to you. Okay, software-defined network is a way to use software-based controller or APIs to communicate the hardware. So, for example, you can have all your switches and all your routers layout in the hardware, and you can actually use software to control the configuration, and you can switch the configuration based on your needs in terms of your company needs or your campus needs. So you can deploy different configuration on the same piece of hardware and switch your network configuration, right? So this is what we call software-defined networking, right? So you don't need, okay, not that you don't need, you still use hardware devices, but you actually control the hardware devices in a virtual network, okay, and then you can run your deployment, your configuration from the software side, right? IoT, or Internet of Things networking. Okay, this is when cars, drones, fridge, weighing scale, power meters, anything you can think of is also connected to the internet, and therefore they need address. So they have IPv6 address. They are also connected to the WAN, okay, either wirelessly or via network. So all this creates extra layers of privacies, of security that you need to handle. And Internet of Things networking, although it is not a very what we call usually they are managed by the manufacturer, they are managed by the ISPs. If a company needs to, let's say for example, have a smart warehouse, smart manufacturing, where the sensors and so on are actually IoT devices, and that's where you have to consider the different ways of interconnecting them, and the security concern as well, right? Now, the next thing, of course, the 5G. Okay, a lot of countries has already have 5Gs implemented, but probably in a partial manner or so on. And of course, we are looking at 6Gs expected in 2023. Okay, so 5G is 10 times faster than 4G, and 6G is 100 times faster than 5G. So 6G is actually 1,000 times faster than 4G. And this 5G and 6Gs work hand in hand with IoT devices. IoT devices, while they can still work with 4G, they're not so good when the network is slower and the bandwidth doesn't catch up with them. Okay, because if your drone needs to transmit large photos, a map, or you need to upload and download a lot of images and so on between the drone and the server, while they are still flying, means wirelessly, then your network will need to have very, very high bandwidth. Okay, something that 4G may not be able to provide. It will need to have 5G and if not 6G. Okay. So here we come to the end of the presentation on the IJCO Network Fundamentals additional topic. Thank you for your attention.